This just proves a breakout is imminent. In a recent report revealing the top candidates to break out this season, one key young Blues player is among the top of the NHL, and this should have Blues fans buzzing. We're going to break down this one player, his impact heading into next season, and exactly why he is poised for a breakout campaign. We're going to break down all this and more later on this episode. Before we get into that, if you're part of the 53.6% watching this and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure to go down and hit it. It's completely free. It helps us out a ton, and in return, we'll give you daily updates from all around the Blues. With that, let's just hop straight into it today, where we did see a report dropped by the Hockey News. This will be tagged down below if you want to read it in the description, and it is a great read. It goes into the Blues surging forward named top breakout candidate. Now looking at this, there's a lot of players within this lineup that seem poised to have a breakout. Robert Thomas is set to take another step after having an incredible campaign and one of the most underrated players from around the league. Pius Suter joining this list. Looks like someone that's going to have a career year joining the Blues, but this goes straight into this article going into Jake Neighbours. Now with this, it goes in talking about Jake Neighbours, how he progressed over the past 3 seasons. 46 points last season and has established himself as the central figure in the new look Blues offense. Only 3 St. Louis Blues forwards saw more ice time in the postseason, which indicates Neighbours is a big part of Coach Jim Montgomery's plans moving forward. Now with Jake Neighbours on this team, a young budding star waiting to have his full breakout, already seen him scoring 20 goals in back-to-back seasons, 46 points last year, but when looking at the underlying numbers, things look even better and like a breakout is on the horizon. Now going into the playoffs, we've seen Jake Neighbours. Now obviously Jordan Binnington's going to be number 1, not coming out of the crease, but a lot of defensemen above him, but only 3 forwards in Robert Thomas, Booch, Shen, and Neighbours, the top 4 in total ice time at 17:51. Now Neighbours went out to put up 6 points in 7 games in his first playoff run, 33 hits. He does everything on the score sheet and being physical, and he's going to be a key part for this Blues team at the start of next season. Now going into Jake Neighbours, as I said, being a phenomenal player, scoring 22 goals last year, 27 the previous year, having almost 40 points in back-to-back years, and still only 23 years old, and just turning 23 a few months ago. The winger is set to jump into this Blues top 6, and we're going to touch on how he breaks into it and how much he can put up later on. But just even going into Jake Neighbours, Doug Armstrong has done an incredible job with this contract. Yes, a 2-year deal. You would wish it'd be a tiny bit longer, but you're going to get a very good player that doesn't get the media hype that he deserves on a contract sub $4 million. Now talking to Darius, he's on vacation right now. You guys are going to have to deal with me for about a week, so hold in tight, Blues fans. But he was also saying the potential, and this was even before the season started, going into the postseason. Looking at this kid, everything is pointing in the right direction. Now going into the lineup, it gets kind of interesting. There's a lot of wingers on this team poised to have good years or stay in the top 6. Holloway is a player that's going to be poised to be a top 6 player going out, putting up career numbers last year, and he's set to continue on with it. Booch is a guy that's going to be hard to replace in the top 6, but with Jim Montgomery counting on Neighbours in the playoffs so much, it would not shock me if we see his ice time slowly jump up and up and up as the season goes on, and it gets very interesting where Montgomery has 3 lines that he can roll out, adding Pius Suter onto that 3rd line. Having Jake Neighbours jump somewhere between the 3rd and the top line. That is 3 solid lines you can play in all situations, and an identity line. Adding Bukestad with Nathan Walker. There's so many options on this Blues team, and it's going to be interesting. Blues fans, I'm going to keep diving into how this impacts the Blues and how the numbers are showing that he's going to break out even more. But where would you play Neighbours within this lineup? Would you like to see him promoted to the top line, 2nd line, 3rd line? Where would you like to see Neighbours on this team heading into next season? Now from Big Heads Hockey, Speaking on Jake Neighbours, 24, 25, 22 goals, 46 points in 82 games, 6 points in 7 playoff games, 173 hits, which is 4th on the Blues, playing at a $4 million market value with the Athletics projections, the lowest 5 on 5 expected goals for percentage for a full-time Blue player. Is he a definite face of the franchise going forward? And I do think, with all signs pointing in this direction, I mean, making a 3.5 or 3.75 million is a bit of an understatement on how good the value is going into the playoff numbers or just regular season numbers. With his 3rd season with the Blues, throwing 173 hits, the biggest thing with Neighbours as well, playing 15 minutes. If his numbers continue to jump up, like we've seen in the postseason, 17 and 51 seconds, if this number jumps up to 15, 16, 17, or even 18, it's going to be a matter of time before we see a 30-goal campaign, maybe 40 goals from Jake Neighbours, and it would not shock me if he goes out to rattle off 35 to 40 goals and 60 plus points next season. Now, going farther into this even more, like this says, he was one of the best players. He's physical, throwing hits, putting up points, scoring goals, but with Blues players, with all Blues players since 23-24, with 60 plus points and 200 plus hits, Colton Parayko, Braden Shen, and Jake Neighbours. Nick Bukestad at 64 points and 225 hits, so adding him into this lineup is going to be another key element, but that's for a completely different video when we talk on him. Now, Blues fans, the biggest thing is Neighbours is going to have to fight for that top 6 spot. He's going to have to fight to get into, as soon as I can find it, that top line. This is a team that's inspiring to add another forward at center at some point in this offseason or in the middle of the season. But the biggest thing is he's going to have to fight in camp, and I do expect Jim Montgomery to give him every chance to get into that top 6, secure a spot, maybe Snuggerud moves down if he has a bit of a sophomore slump. And listen, I want to knock on wood. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's going to get very exciting. And listen, there's a lot of Blues players that are set to break out, but there is one guy I wanted to bring up, and we haven't touched on him enough recently in the episodes, and that is Justin Carbonneau. Now, with Carbonneau, it's going to get interesting if he can break into this lineup. We know how good he was last season in the queue, putting up 89 points in 62 games, committing to go back to the queue so he can get a stint with the Blues. It's going to get interesting to see all these guys breaking out, with Doug Armstrong making it very clear he's going to give these rookies a chance to get within the lineup. If you're going into training camp, if you impress enough, they will make moves to put someone in this lineup with a young guy, Dvorsky, Carbonneau. There's so many options, but Blues fans, what is your thoughts on getting a guy like Snuggerud as the top breakout candidate coming out of the St. Louis Blues? How many points do you think he puts up? Let us know down below. And speaking on comments, we'll get in everyone's favorite topic, which is comment of the day. Love the channel, boys. I've been a diehard Blues fan since 1990s. It'd be really nice to be on the guests on the show. I have a lot of knowledge to share about the Blues, past, present, and future. Thank you so much. And listen, we're talking about doing a lot of things. We're going to do call-in, live shows, anything you can think of. So Blues, we want to give you guys a voice. If you want to go down and put comments down there, we love to share that as comment of the day. We're going to do call-ins. Maybe we'll do comment of the day in a video style. Let us know what you guys want us to do for the future, because we have so many plans and the regular season cannot come fast enough. But Blues fans, go down and leave a comment below. I want to give you guys a huge shout out for tuning into all of this. Me and Darius started this channel, over a month and a half ago, almost at 4,000 subscribers. Once again, thank you so much, Blues fans. We love putting the content out. We love seeing you guys enjoy it. But once again, I've been your host, Mark, but you're going to have to deal with me as a solo for another week. As Darius is on vacation, go down, spam happy vacation to Darius. Let him know. Take a guess where he's to down below. But that'd be it for this episode. Take care, Blues fans.